Kenny, deserved win today?
Yeah, I felt it was. It was hard fought. Totally different type of game than some of the recent home games that we had, where we've played sides above us in the table, and we had to really sort of work hard at it today. I did think we were a better team and deserved to win, and great to see then just John coming off the bench and got in the key goal. We could have made it a little bit easier in the last 10 minutes. With further chances, really. 3-1 does kill it off, but be fair to the boys at the back, they did enough, and by the end, finished off an excellent week. 3-2-1 wins in 3 competitions. Obviously today is the most important one, but it's a good week getting through the 2 cup games and then winning a home game in the league today.
They caused you a few problems, so how upset were you when they scored? Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, it's just one of those situations where, like you say, I could only really see something coming from a set piece, but in both Force, who went off, and Piggott, they have got some goal scoring threat, and they try to, their way is to try to stay in the game as long as they possibly can and see if one of those guys comes up with something. And for them, you could see how they were trying that, and for us anyway, it's our challenge to try to break them down. I didn't really think we got sort of any tempo to our game second half. I thought first half we played some good football, moved the ball from side to side, switched it against their back 5, and got ourselves in good positions, got 1 goal, could have had more. I thought the second half we just didn't get any flow of our game necessarily, and we couldn't keep the ball in play. It was always a free kick, it was always a throw in, and it suited the away side more than the home team, and we really did and do at home need flow to our game, definitely, and it didn't happen. That's our fault, our responsibility, but to be fair, it's an excellent winner with a great cross from Ronan, who I think again linked very well with Seddon, and a good header by John has proved decisive, and as I said, third sort of 2-1 win in 8 days in 3 competitions seals off a good week for us.
Inspired substitution, if you like, but you've got those sort of players to come off the bench.
Yeah, and we want 1 or 2 more back if we can. You always say that as a manager so that you have choices, when you have the amount of games that we've played, and then the travelling as well. You do need to freshen things up, and different types of players. We talk inside about different types of number 10. Wimbledon are pretty good in midfield, and they can keep the ball, and it doesn't necessarily hurt you, but it can frustrate you as a side. And putting the third midfield player then in the likes of McGee and Andy Cannon, those guys really helped us. But ultimately, then it's a forward substitution that's made the difference.
First goal was a joy to watch as well.
It was, yeah, good break. Sean's sort of laid it into Andy. Good assist from Andy, I felt, and Marcus got himself a goal. And today could have had a few more. He gets in terrific positions, and particularly at home is a real threat, and delighted with him so far.
Goal difference separates you from the playoffs now.
Is that what it is? I haven't necessarily looked. I do feel that, no disrespect to any of the opposition, but we've all seen the division now, and there's some very good teams, definitely, but the key to it is ourselves doing well ourselves, and getting me as a manager getting the most out of the squad, bringing the crowd into play, which they were fantastic with us today again, and making sure that they really do feel we have a chance. That's the big thing. So for the squad of players, they have to just focus going forward, make sure that we can keep this type of run going, because we're on a good run at the moment. If you're looking probably since the start of November, our wins, draws, losses is pretty good, and we'll need to keep that going though, because making that break, making sure we stay with the top teams, and in a very good and competitive division, we have to be at our maximum every time. Different type of game today, different type of test for us, but still winning is hard, and we worked hard to do it.
You chose to go out without Ben Close again.
Yeah, and I just felt that for Cameron McGee, it was the right thing today to put him next to Tom Naylor. A little bit tough on Ben Close because he hasn't done anything wrong, but I still did feel one way or another we needed a few more options in midfield. That's all, and for the overall of the club, that's the right thing. It was an area where we didn't have too many options or alternatives or injuries or natural midfield players. And anyway, I was pleased with McGeehan's debut today. He showed a good all-round game, and not too much of a goal threat today. Had 1 shot quite early on, but will come up with goals as well, definitely.
He did seem to give you something different.
Yeah, he's a good player, and we're pleased to bring him in. And he's sort of the right fit, I think, for the club, and pleased with the board of directors really for giving me the opportunity to bring him to the club and help us, as will as all said and as well today. Yeah.
Really well done, thanks.
Cheers, John. Well done.
Cheers, mate.